Okay, so this one here, the model has already been unwrapped before. On the left, you can see that the UV has been laid out. Okay, if I turn on the shaded color, you can see some of them are being overlapped. Okay, if it's overlap means there's a duplicate and then the UV are being shared. For example, the hand. Both left and right hand are sharing the same textures. Okay, the arm here as well. Both arms are sharing the same texture. Okay, so if I want them to be separated, at the end of the day, all this UV, I can move it out. Okay, and then those that are in red, I flip it. But I have to make sure that both UVs are within the space itself, the UV space itself. Okay, so it's up to you really whether you want them to be shared or separated. Okay, so for you guys, if you are doing unwrap, I say again, previously there's an unwrap video being done. It's already being recorded and put inside the server already. So this one here, I'm going to redo some areas just to share with you how you can tackle the unwrap. So I'm going into object mode. I'm going to reset all the UVs. Go to polygon, delete UVs. So now it's like there's no more UV information already. Okay, this is like a blank canvas. So I'm going to start off with the legs. Okay, first of all, my model have already been cleaned up. I have combined a few objects together. Okay, so for making this video a bit more easier, I'm going to extract out the model. So now they are all separate objects. Okay, selecting the pants. Again, isolate display. Going over to my face mode, select all the face. In my UV editor, shift right click, planar map. Okay, planar map to give me some UV information. Of course, the UV is not correct. This is where we need to go in to adjust it. Okay, so for my model, I have already allocated where the seam line is going to be, which is by the side of the pen. Okay, so the edges, they are kind of like connected from the top all the way down to the bottom. So I'm just going to find the middle edge, double click on it. Okay, so I selected 4 edges. Holding on to shift right click, I'm going to cut the UV in my UV editor. Then next, go to my UV, select all the UV and shift right click, unfold. Okay, so now you have both UV separated into the front and the back. If I turn on the checker map, okay, you can take a look which are the areas where we can improve on. For example, this area here might be stretching. So I go into my face mode. Okay, these are the areas. Now that I know where they are, I can go to my UV mode. Shift right click, smooth UV tool. See whether this tool will help us improve the situation. Okay, doesn't seem like it's improving much. I'm going to try another unfold. Okay. Okay, selecting a wider range of UVs. Okay, to improve the situation, because the area that I selected is not enough to relax the UV. Okay, so you can decide whether you want the UV to be split up into two, front and back, or you want it to be attached together at the sides. Okay, of course, if you were to attach it by the sides, later on there will be some issues. Let me explain to you what they are. Go to my edge mode, select the sides, move and seal. Okay, you can see that the UV, they are overlap, and then the leg, you know, they will spread out open, looks very weird. Okay, and then you have a lot of space in between. So you have the option to leave it like this. Okay, then all the negative space you can put other things there. Or you can actually go into the face mode, select the whole area, rotate, move it over. Okay, then go into UV mode, select the whole range there, shift right click, unfold UV, smooth UV tool. Okay, and then you unfold again. Then you slowly adjust until all the things are square. Okay, as square as possible. Okay, so a few options for you to go and decide what you can do. Okay, moving on quickly, we move on to the shirt. Oh wait, I move on to the hand. The hand may be a bit more tricky. So for the hand, same thing here. I'm going to the face mode, select all the faces, shift right click, planner map. Going into the edge mode, I want to find the center line. So double click. Okay, all I want to do is to find the center. Okay, those extra one I deselect. Okay, shift right click, cut UV, UV select all, unfold. Okay, so now I have both top and bottom. Okay, then I will find the side of it, maybe the thumb. Shift right click, move and seal. Select all again to unfold. Okay, then the hand is done already. Okay, so I say again, all you need to find was the center line. Okay, the thumb might be a bit tricky because the line doesn't really loop across nicely. So you just have to find that find some zigzag, just go all the way down. Okay, then just cut it out. You can always attach it at the end one, so don't worry about where the line goes. Okay, then we move on to the shirt. The shirt is very similar to the pants. So selecting all the face again, shift right click, planner map. Going into the edge mode. Okay, the sleeve, I'm going to detach them. Shift right click, cut UV. Edge mode again. Select the edges at the bottom. Okay, just nice, the shirt is being selected, so I'm just going to use it as well. Shift right click, cut the UV, go over to UV mode, select all and unfold. Then in the shell mode, you can move them out separately and check if there's any error with the checker map, whether is it square or not. Okay, and then next one is the head. Okay, the head is not difficult as well. So going to the face mode, again select all the faces, shift right click, planner map. What we need to do here is to identify where the seam line is going to be. Then we're going to unfold it. So the seam line for the head is always at the top, just above the forehead. Do not put it at the forehead. Okay, put it higher select the edges above the forehead where you'll be covered up by your cap, your hair and the stuff that the guy will be wearing. Select the edge and then the last edge at the back of the neck. Okay, that will be your seam line. Shift right click, cut the UV in the UV editor. Again right click, UV, unfold. Okay, rotate the model or the UV. Okay, and that's it. Okay, for the eyeball, same thing here. Now I have 3 elements inside. So selecting all of them, shift right click, planar map. I'm going to select the eye white. Eye white, I can just move it out because the whole thing is going to be white. I'm just going to select the iris, unfold it. There should be a circle. Okay, so for the iris, I need to make it slightly bigger because I'm going to texture it. Okay, for the lens itself, you're going to use a different material. So this one don't have to worry too much. You can actually make it into a very small UV and put it one side. Okay, so the rest are relatively quite simple. Okay, the shoe, this will be the last model that I'm going to unwrap to show you guys. So again, same thing. I'm going to extract the model out first. Going to the face mode, select everything, shift right click, planar map. I'm going to separate out the UV into 2 parts, the sole itself and the leather itself. So selecting the sole, shift right click, cut the UV. Okay, this is the sole itself. So go to UV mode, select the whole sole, unfold. Okay, now we have the UV for the sole already. For the top of the shoe, I'm going to find the seam line. And the seam line is usually at the back of the shoe. Okay, and then if your shoe have multiple layer and design and stuff like that, then you cut accordingly to the seam line, your reference picture, where the stitches are. Okay, so shift right click, cut UV, right click, UV mode, select everything again, shift right click, unfold. Okay, and that's it for the shoe. Okay, so for UV unwrap, the steps are always the same. You planar map, you cut the UV, and then you unfold the UV. Then if need be, you go and smooth the UV too. Okay. The tricky thing here is where to place the seam line. So in order to know what are the seam lines and the location, refer to the real life object. Where are all the stitches? Okay, and then use it as a guide for your seam line placement.